Welcome to Beyond the Press Release, a production of Gorcom, in which we take the time to speak with small cap executives after they put out important news. And with today, it's not just important news, but massive industry news, because David Lukacs, the CEO of Liquid Avatar Technologies, you heard that right, because when we had him on, you've always heard him as KABN. The name change is official. That's the press release, but that's not the big news today. Liquid Avatar Technologies trades on the CSC under LQID. And for our friends in the US, TRWRF. For those of you new to the story, and man, pay attention. And for those of you who aren't new to the story, pay even more attention. But for those of you who are new, Liquid Avatar is a North American fintech company that specializes in empowering individuals to manage, control, and generate value from their, here's the tech part, biometrically verified self-sovereign identity. And that's through the Liquid Avatar platform. What does that mean? Okay, what does that mean? What it means is that Liquid Avatar turns the problem of data privacy into a profit for individuals while providing big businesses with new and compliant business models. We've been saying that since the company went public in the summer of 2020. People have been listening to that, but not everybody's convinced, because that sounds like a pretty big thing happened. Well, Google announced a major shift this week that pretty much validates everything David's been saying. So let's talk about that. David, welcome back.
Thanks, George. Great to be here.
Here's the headline. Google announces major shift away from precision targeting of ads based on everything you do on the internet. That's a story on Business Insider. Mm-hmm. And I'm going to read something here, a couple of quotes. Google believes these types of tracking methods don't meet rising consumer expectations for privacy, nor will they stand up to rapidly evolving regulatory restrictions, and therefore aren't a sustainable long-term investment. And Business Insider says Google's decision could upend the ad industry, which has relied on these types of tracking tools. Man, did you write the article? Because this is what you've been pounding the table on. We've been pounding the table on, but you're the guy who's been leading it. How do you feel does this validate, does this vindicate your business model?
Well, George, it is amazing, but this has happened to us once before when we helped develop, the e-commerce ability to type in credit cards online in 1998. Everybody told us that people wouldn't shop online. So it sounds like a replay for us. We have believed for over 3 years now that the model would change, and regulation in Europe, regulation in California, upcoming regulations in Canada, in Australia, and around the world is really pushing for consumers to manage their data. They to own and manage their data. And we've been screaming it from the rafters and maybe to the Raptors, but we've been screaming from the rafters.
Yeah.
So this is, I don't want to say it's vindication, but this is validation that we believe we're going in the right direction, and it's important validation.
I mean, this is a major, major move, right? Because when we would talk all these months, we'd say that regulation is pushing. It's not just David Lukacs and this team at Liquid Avatar Technologies that are trying to get people to buy a different widget. We've been saying that the tailwind, a big part of the tailwind behind you is legislation. And here's Google talking about both privacy. It just doesn't fit anymore. People want more privacy over their data. And on top of that, evolving regulatory restrictions.
Exactly.
So you've been dead on nails. And I think people now need to pay closer attention. So we've talked about what you do. So this isn't so David, what do you do moment now? We've talked about what you do. Let's talk about what this shift means. What is right now, ads come at me because I'm personally identified. And they say, there's George, and we're going to send them certain ads. And I don't participate in any of that. I get used. I don't participate in the money and all that. What's going to be happening, and why is Liquid Avatar leading the way, especially in the small cap? I don't want to say on the planet, but in the small cap world, you guys have a monopoly on this. There isn't anybody else anywhere near this business model.
Well, I think, George, the first thing we have to take at is what is the value to the consumer? Most organizations have gone after enterprise. We've focused on the consumer, the end user, and the end user is where this data collection point is going to be and where the data management control is going to be. So what Liquid Avatar does is we empower users to manage and control their data and their privacy and their identity. And not only have we launched the Liquid Avatar app in a phased approach so people can get used to it, and we haven't even started our marketing there. We've launched the app, made sure it's stable. We're doing some improvements to it, and then we're launching phases, and our marketing program will start.
Right.
And I think this is
and you're still ahead of everybody.
Right,
Even though
exactly.
You're phasing it in.
Exactly. And then, we've announced probably the world's most, what we believe is most prolific identity wallet. So people will be able to keep identity credentials in a secure identity wallet, which they own and operate biometrically. So that's coming. And then on top of it, we're adding new bells and whistles like augmented reality to support these things. I mean, we believe we're so far ahead of the curve, and most of our technologies are either live or near build live. So it's not like we are talking about things that'll come out in 6 and 9 and 12 months, but the reality of our product is we're here now, and we'll be more here, for lack of any better word, in the next 60 to 90 days. And I think we're leading the way, especially because, George, the addressable market for this solution is 100% of people online, and that's 5 billion people around the world.
This applies to every single person online. You don't have to use certain apps. You don't have to use certain platforms, things like that. But this applies to every single person online.
We're building a utility here. It's sort of, we think of the utility right now as again, everybody's heard me say this as sort of a pill. Digital identity is going to be a hard pill to swallow, but Google is pushing that way, and Apple with iOS 14 is making changes in iOS 14.5 for the ad industry. There is massive changes in the ad industry. They're going to have to go to the consumers to ask if they want to participate, and the consumers are going to have control. We're here to help the consumers have control, and by making those connections, if the consumer partakes, we'll make a little bit of money. So we have
and why wouldn't I, right?
Right, exactly. But what's key about this is all our services are free. So we've created this really unique and fun way to engage with a very serious issue.
I want to read. I mean, you're already launching. Google says they're experimenting with tools in its privacy sandbox that are designed to allow advertising to continue to work on the web, but in a less privacy encroaching way. Right? That's what you're doing. So explain to people how the experience changes for George. George right now, see, I go to a site, and based on what I do, they serve me an ad. How's the experience going to change for George a year or two? And by the way, I'm going to want it to change for me, guys, because if I can be part of that, make money from it, control I mean, why wouldn't you? There's 10 different reasons, but how does the experience change so people at home can kind of understand that?
Well, let me start by saying the internet was never really built for digital identity, and that's why there's been so many excuses, because the technology until recently didn't exist to be able to embed digital identity into the internet. So, credit card companies will say, don't worry about it. If someone steals your identity, we'll just take care of it, and we'll pass literally pass some of these costs over to the next person who's paying interest. But the technology now exists by ourselves and by some of our partners at the Trust Over IP Foundation, in which we're a steering committee member. And what really digital identity is trying to change, adding digital identity is trying to change a jet airplane in mid-flight without disturbing passengers. It's a really retrofit in, that's a big deal. So we've tried to make it fun and engaging. So what happens is with us, you'll get a liquid avatar, and you'll be able to have different liquid avatars for different parts of your personality: friends, family, work, gaming, collecting, whatever you're doing, you'll have a different liquid avatar. You'll be able to connect different data to each part of that liquid avatar.
So what a member shows on Agoracom is different from what they show on Facebook, is different what they show on Amazon when they're buying stuff.
Well, the avatar itself controls that. So I might have an Agoracom liquid avatar. I may have an avatar for shopping. I may have an avatar for friends. And for work, I may not want to show everybody my Facebook page. So At the end of the day, you can share those avatars as you would a V card
Right.
or any image. And when I as a different user click on them, if I have the app, it ingests immediately, and I've got your persona now in my app. And but more so, I can control what I share, when I share, and with whom I share it. That's really important. I can also store and manage credentials. So if I have a digital driver's license, like the Ontario government is talking about digital identity, and BC is already in digital identity. So if I have a state issued digital identity, I can store it inside my, Liquid Avatar wallet, or a separate wallet that might be issued that I can access through Liquid Avatar. So think about it very simply. When I walk into a restaurant in normal times and want to pay, I have a choice of multiple credit cards or debit cards or cash to pay. I pick the solution of payment. So when I walk into an arena, they might say, well, I need to know you have a COVID credential, and we accept the following 7. Well, you may have them in 7 different wallets, but the key will be your Liquid Avatar identity proves that you are you, and then you can pick from those different wallets what credential you want to show. Same as you would out of a normal wallet. So
Yeah.
we're putting all of that in electronically. So if you have wallets all over the place, you'll be able to manage all those wallets through sort of a universal remote inside of Liquid Avatar. But more so, once you are a known individual, and we will only allow one user and one account in Liquid Avatar, vendors, marketers are going to want to reach you. And so what we're going to do is say, hey, George, we have an offer from company X. If you want, here's the information, participate with them. If you participate, company X will pay us a little bit of spiff or a little bit of commission. So that's how we make our money.
And at the same time, I get
Options.
something really targeted that I might like. It might be a new car, something I'm interested in. So I'm going to get paid a little bit of money, but at the same time, also see something that I actually want to see, rather than saying all the crap that I see. How many times I'm on the web saying, why the hell am I seeing this ad? This makes no sense.
Well, the other thing too is, George, we're making the relationship between the marketer and yourself more efficient. So the marketer isn't going to be spending money on fake users and bots and all these things.
Yeah.
So they're going to have more money in their marketing budget to give you back some type of rebate or offer. So it's going to be more efficient. They're going to be more efficient, more profitable, and some of that value they can shift over to you. So it makes it work for everyone.
The Agoracom thesis, guys, for everybody at home, and I'm not going to put words in David's mouth, but this is the way we see it. The world is going to keep getting digital until it's down to the last most granular part of our lives. So what that means is sensors are going to be inside refrigerators, or you're going to be wearing a watch that's connected to artificial intelligence that knows you might be having a heart attack in 10 minutes, and you're going to get a drone that's going to show up with paddles. This is where the world is going to go. So if that's where the world is going, it has to be that way for digital identity. It has no choice, right?
Exactly.
And I was about to say KABN. And Liquid Avatar Tech, LQID, is way ahead of everybody. So we're going to hop on to another topic, but before I do, I'm going to leave with one more quote. This is from Google's Director of Product Management for Ads, Privacy, and Trust. I swear to God, I think it's almost like you made up this article, put in these precise names and quotes, because I wouldn't believe it otherwise. But keeping the internet open and accessible for everyone requires all of us to do more to protect privacy. And that means an end to not only third-party cookies, but also any technology used for tracking individual people as they browse the web. This is Google saying the whole world has no attention, they have no option but to pay attention to that, even if they don't like it.
Agreed.
So anyways, I'm pumped, man. I'm really excited now. I've always been, but now we can kind of present this to the world and say, this is what's happening. The shift is on. Might as well go to liquidavatar.com, right, David?
Exactly.
You might as well start getting your avatar, and we'll talk about more.
You can go to the
Google
Play or the Apple Store as well and download it.
All right. Next up, name change. So we'll go over that a little bit, because then I want to go on to NFTs. Name change. You change the name to Liquid Avatar Technologies, and the stock symbol is great, LQID. But why was it important to change the name?
Well, George, if you look at major brand companies out there, whether it's Google or Coca-Cola or Pepsi or Facebook or Twitter, their corporate name reflects their flagship product. And we felt that it was going to be something that we needed to do. KABN is a great name, and it is still part of our product suite. But for those that have been following us, know that we're bringing in a new digital identity platform based on the Liquid Avatar premise, and so KABN ID is being what we call deprecated, and it uses great technology, but the technology, we're going to full blockchain technology for our services. So we felt the time was right. Well, what was also right was we were able to get the right symbol to represent us. So LQID has the ID in it, but when you pronounce it, we say it's liquid. So, it's couldn't have asked for anything better. We're liquid. On hopefully on a whole bunch of fronts as we grow up. But,
It will be, but yeah, I love. Look, I'm gonna one of the few times I'm gonna do this.
I know.
From the day we start, I want the world to know. From the day we started talking, I said, "Look, KABN's great, but Liquid Avatar is the brand," and I'm so happy about that change because it's so almost just even though it's the same company, just portrays a different image that you guys so cutting edge on. I'm glad you did that. And for all of you who haven't seen it yet, go to liquidavatar.com. The imagery is just so powerful, right? It's just so new. This is the way the world is going. So I love that. Last topic is the NFT. Nancy Frank Thomas, or better known as non-fungible token craze. 90% of people watch this, 95% of people watch this don't even know what that is. But here's an example of an industry that maybe didn't exist. I mean, it existed a couple of years ago, but in the fringe of fringes, and now is making its way into the mainstream. Explain to people first what the NFT craze is, and then how does Liquid Avatar fit in there?
Well, I think the first thing people need to do is understand what an NFT is, or non-fungible token. We hear about Bitcoin and Ethereum and all these things, and they're just like a regular sort of dollar bill. So we don't have dollar bills anymore, but let's talk about a dollar bill or dollar coin. They're divisible. You can separate them into smaller pieces and buy small pieces of them. A non-fungible token, that's a fungible token. A non-fungible token is a single unit that is non-divisible. So think of a silver dollar, which has got a ounce of silver and a dollar. You never change that in for 4 quarters. I mean, that's the way it is. So a non-fungible token is a single token. Now, what's happened in the industry is instead of having value associated with that token, so a dollar value, people are now attaching video clips and digital artwork and all kinds of collectibles, for lack of anything better, and assets,
digital collectibles,
digital assets to that token through the blockchain. And it's one copy of, non-transferable except for through the token. You can't copy or fake it. You've got that one of a series, and it's gone.
Blockchain verifies it.
It's gone wild. I mean, someone just has to look at NBA Top Shots by Dapper Labs in Vancouver, plug to our great Canadian friends. But Liquid Avatar, because it's a unique item, we looked very early at doing NFTs, like doing.
Admittedly, I will say that from last year when you first told me about NFTs, I said I was trying to wrap my mind around it, and again, you're ahead of everybody, at least everybody I know, and here it is.
Yeah, and we're exploring opportunities at Liquid Avatar because you're going to have different icons and different opportunities, and eventually you'll be able to upload your own icons and create your own icons. So we're looking at the NFT market very carefully. I mean, we've got comic book creators and artists we're associated with, and some of us have been involved in the entertainment industry for many years. So there's a lot of opportunity, and we're getting a lot of calls and a lot of people requesting that to talk to us about NFTs. So I think that's a bit of we've kind of given a bit of tell saying that we're going to be involved with NFTs. We've just landed, the outer spacemen have landed, and there's some other great stuff coming out, but we want to be part of this. We also think that it could potentially be a great revenue opportunity and linked not only to Liquid Avatar, but our upcoming augmented reality platform. A NFT is a digital asset that has been created and is static in nature. It might be a video clip, but it's at a point in time. By adding things like augmented reality to an NFT, by having a code embedded inside the image or the digital asset, we can now extend the life of that NFT to add more and more artist opportunities and more add-ons and notifications. And so we're looking at creating an ever-expanding universe through NFTs.
We could create an NFT out of this section right here where we're talking about NFTs 3 years from now,
Yeah.
if and when, I shouldn't say when, but if you guys decide at home, if Liquid Avatar lives up to its promise, blows up at the forefront of all this with NFTs, I could go back and say, I'm going to turn this segment into an NFT, sell only sell 10 copies of it. And even though people can watch the interview on YouTube for the rest of their lives, if they want to own a digital piece of history, where here's the first interview where David Lukács talked about NFTs within Liquid Avatar, that would become a collector's item, right?
Well, it's more than that, George. So we're looking at three areas of NFTs. One is a digital asset, so a piece of digital artwork, a video, piece of multimedia attached to an NFT. That's the first one. Second one is, how do you attach not only digital artwork but physical products? So I want to buy a image of my favorite basketball star, but I want to buy his shoes as well. How do the two connect it? And we have some ideas we're working on, so I won't let that out yet.
Okay, first time I've heard of the physical world coming into the NFT side.
Right. And then this is why, you heard it here first. And then the third one is I want to have my digital artwork, but I want a piece of a very expensive product that I know I can't own it. Like, let's say a Monet or an exclusive basketball item, a jersey or a ball or something.
Tom Brady's Super Bowl ring or something.
Right. Or his first game day helmet or whatever the case may be. But I might be able to own a fraction of that. So we're looking at digital artwork. How does that connect to liquid avatars? How does that connect to physical product and potentially fractional? And it's not a separate business. It's all part of the Liquid Avatar platform, which is two sides of it. Remember, it's sort of the peanut butter and the pill. The pill is what you need to do to make us a utility, right? So if you look at companies like Apple or a Google, their utilities, whether it's the Apple Store or the Apple TV or those while they're entertainment, they're utilities that create ongoing revenue. Google Search is a utility, but Google alone doesn't rely upon that. They have other products. So Liquid Avatar in its purest form will be a utility that we hope people will use every day to manage their digital identity. But we also want to have bells and whistles built around it, including things like NFTs and icons and fun things, so that you'll keep using it and it'll become a more prolific part of your everyday life.
For everybody at home who's watching this, I wouldn't blame you if you're overwhelmed by some of the concepts and terminology. But given the fact that in August, we started talking with David about digital privacy and monetization, and it was difficult for everyone to wrap their mind around it. Here we are 8 months later, and validation to what Google's about to do. That gives more weight to what David just said about non-fungible tokens, NFTs, and the different ways and why this isn't just Liquid Avatar saying, oh, NFTs are hot, we want to participate in that. A lot of companies are guilty of that, right? They want to get in on a craze just for their stock to try and get some value, but that's not the case. Liquid Avatar is perfectly suited for this because you can own your NFT inside your Liquid Avatar, right, David? Basically, you can, so it's just a perfect fit. So if you don't know what NFTs are, non-fungible tokens, NFT, just Google it. Just Google NFT. There's parts of digital history that you want to own. Because right now, this video, even though somebody's watching it 10 years from now, they don't own it. It's an Agoracom video on YouTube and they can watch David. But if they want a piece of history saying this is the first video where David talked about non-fungible tokens inside of a Liquid Avatar, they can own that. And that's where the world is going. And if you think that sounds crazy, remember how far ahead David was of digital privacy. All right. Last words to you, David.
Well, I think what we're here to do is we spent a lot of time educating the market, and now we're in doing mode. So we're really focused on what we're doing, not what we're saying. So again, people may not believe in digital identity. People may not believe in NFTs. People might not believe in that the world will change. But if you look at the rapid change in the last 5 years, I mean, electric cars were around 20 years ago, and we all might remember Ballard Power out of Vancouver, I believe.
Sure, of course.
And you know, but it took Elon Musk to really get the market going. And now we see ads from GM and Ford saying, hey, we've got renewable energy, or our you know, 35% of a fleet of our cars will be electric. I mean, these are companies that built their business on the fossil fuel you know, industry, and they're changing. So, you know what, the only thing that is constant is change, as has been said many times. And so we're not trying to be so far ahead that we're on the bleeding edge. We're literally on the leading edge, and that's where we want to stay.
Yep, and you're there. And man, it's so great to be talking to you, knowing that Google shares your vision now as putting that for the world to see. Awesome, David. Congratulations on the name change. Congratulations on the validation. And for everybody at home, you know, this is a company you got to watch for the next 12, 24, 36 months. We know there's a lot of market stuff going on right now. And if you're someone who looks at markets tick by tick or close by close, you're going to miss out on bigger picture companies. I can tell you that Liquid Avatar Tech is definitely it. This is where you got to do your due diligence, but make sure you do it. Get to Agoracom, do your due diligence there, then hop over to liquidavatar.com, take a look there, and then Google Play, or an Apple, Google Play for me, because I'm a Google guy. What is it?
Apple App Store.
Apple App Store. Hop in there, download it, start messing around with it. This is where the world is going. It's up to you to do your due diligence and educate yourself. Thanks for joining us, everyone. Have a great day. See you next time.